Hi there. I'm going to talk today about my objective 3 to understand learning, psychology, and application to education. There were two questions and another topic underneath. The first was, do teachers make a difference? The second is, what is good teaching? And third is differentiated instruction. First question, do teachers make a difference? Absolutely. It's up to the teacher whether that difference is good or bad, because unfortunately it does happen that a teacher may make a difference in a negative way in a student's life. I have honestly had that happen more often in my life than positive differences. And in elementary school, it was difficult for me. I had ADHD, I still do. But when I was elementary school in the 80s, it was non-diagnosed, and it's not really the teachers' faults. I don't think it was as prevalent then as it is now, so it just went unnoticed. I was just, a kid who didn't pay attention and didn't finish his work, and except, would get up to sharpen pencils and throw paper away and get Kleenexes and, whatever, stare out the window. And so I just, got in trouble a lot and embarrassed because not knowing where we were when we were reading. And of course, back in those days, no one was allowed to show me. I just had to sit there and try to figure it out on my own, which was, virtually impossible. Somewhat a humiliating experience. And so I had a lot of teachers make differences like that in my life. But it wasn't junior high. I had one really good science teacher, and then in high school I had a couple really inspiring teachers that were really helpful, and I think caring, which I'll mention later, is probably one of the biggest factors in teachers making a difference. If when students know that the teacher cares, then the whole dynamic changes. It's a caring environment, a teacher who smiles and listens to what the kids have to say and cares about what's going on in their lives will make a tremendous difference compared to a teacher who doesn't care or doesn't appear to care. What is good teaching? I think good teaching is a teacher who challenges students. I had two very notable teachers that I can think of right now. When I started Fort Hayes, the first one was Dr. Moody in my first semester. Just a really inspiring guy. Genuinely cares. We still keep in contact. Years later, and I had one class with him at the very beginning, and it's very important to me. I used him as my reference to get into the teacher education program, and then after that was last semester, Dr. Walliser, probably the most inspiring teacher I have had to date, and really changed my view. Not necessarily changed it, but gave me a new goal as far as the level of impact that I wanted to provide to my students. Since I've started and before I started, I've wanted to be a good teacher, but seeing her in action and understanding that the demands she placed when they in the beginning seemed very difficult turned out to be the gold mine, the the pressure she put on, and the workload, and all the live classes and everything that we had to do, just really made me a better person, and prepared me well to go out and teach. So I think she's a great example of a teacher who's knowledgeable and inventive, possesses just a tremendous amount of strategies to accommodate different students, and that's a key, because there's such a diversity out there in our schools with students. You're never going to get just the honors class that comes through, and everyone just loves loves the lessons, and learns so much, and does great on the assessments, and turns everything in and has perfect handwriting. It's just not going to happen. There's a broad range of abilities in the classroom, and so this chapter, or this section of objectives really focused on being able to accommodate and adjust your instruction to teach different students, which brings me to the differentiated instruction, which you get this broad range of abilities in a classroom. You have to look at these differences and this diversity as a strength, rather than a weakness. And in the book, in Educational Psychology, 12th edition, there was a sentence in there that said, "Differences are opportunities, not problems." And I really took that to heart, and that's a wonderful way. That's the only way, really, to look at these differences. These are opportunities to teach your students in a different way, and opportunities to have students work together and learn from each other, and support each other. And a big part of this is knowing your students. You've got to understand cultural differences, and language barriers, and just things going on in homes. Is this student, are their parents going through a divorce? They have a sick sibling, or something. There's all kinds of things that if you don't know your students, you may not know what's going on. So it's very important to communicate with your students and understand where they're coming from, understand their likes and their dislikes. So if you've got a class full of kids who like soccer, and you're working on geometry and figuring out area, instead of designing a car dealership and figuring out how much space they need to do this in, it's like design maybe a soccer stadium or a sports complex or something, to pique their interest and show them that these real world examples of how they can use what they're learning. So I think that's that's the key there, is just knowing your students, understanding diversity, and back to teaching, making a difference, positive impact, challenging students, caring, promoting growth, being knowledgeable, having a broad range of strategies, and being being versatile, being able to use different strategies and even invent strategies. I hope you enjoyed my video.